Does it seem like your life is falling apart seemingly for no reason, just one tower moment after the other? Well, how do you know if your life actually is falling apart or if the universe is just trying to level you up? Welcome to Lightways. My name is David, your spiritual awakening coach, here to help you through your spiritual awakening. Let's dive deep into the three signs that the universe is trying to level you up. Right now, let's go. Three signs the universe wants to level you up. Number one, the universe is taking away what has been holding you back because you've been reluctant to let it go. This is a huge one, guys. The ego is always going to protect against what it believes is a threat to the survival of the false self. Remember, the false self is that identity the ego believes that you need to be to survive. So the ego may have sold you the story that you need that toxic relationship to survive, or you need that job that you hate to survive, or you need to lean on excessive escapism or whatever that vice is to survive. But when the universe is taking these things off of the table as an option, you know the universe is trying to level you up. This is because the universe knows what is better for your survival than your ego does. Moreover, the universe knows what's in alignment with the reason you decided to incarnate more than your ego does. This is where you really need to trust. You chose to incarnate for a specific reason. Most likely that reason was not to remain codependent in a toxic relationship or remain a slave in the 3D matrix or to lean on alcoholism or excessive escapism, whatever that vice may be. So your higher self, your team in the unseen, source, whatever labels we want to put on higher consciousness, knows what's in alignment with the reason that you decided to incarnate. And so it's taking away the lesser to make room for the greater and to put your timeline on that trajectory of the higher trajectory of why you decided to incarnate. And so when the universe is taking this off of the table, this is where you've got to trust that it's for your highest good and that it's going to put you closer to the path of why you decided to incarnate in the first place. Number two, the right people, information, and opportunities just seem to coincidentally pop up in your everyday life. So, guys, there are no coincidences or accidents in an absolute intelligent universe. So, when you start to live more from your heart and less from the ego, the leanings and desires of your heart get louder. You're no longer distracted by the leanings of your heart because you're no longer so egoically focused. The ego is always focused often to the future. It's never in the present moment. You could find yourself in wounded masculine energy where you're overworking, overanalyzing, over catastrophizing. But when you start to live more from your heart, the leanings of your heart, in other words, that compass of your heart is always pointed towards the reason that you decided to incarnate, that higher timeline. And now the people, places, and things from that higher timeline become aware of you. Now there's vibrational awareness between where you are and where you're trying to go. And they just coincidentally pop up in your everyday life, giving you an opportunity to either choose the new life or the old life. You're always going to be given an opportunity to see if you are vibrationally congruent with the life that your heart wants you to lead. And this is why healing trauma is so important, because you've got to believe that you are worthy of that higher timeline. You've got to be courageous enough to go after that higher timeline. You're always going to be given an opportunity to fall back into the old behaviors, which may be people pleasing, chasing validation, or trauma bonding onto that same old type of relationship, which just keeps you anchored into that old life. So when the people, places, and things of the life that you actually want to live just always seem to pop up in your life, that's a sign that the universe is trying to level you up. It's also a sign to let the old life go. In other words, let the old behavior patterns go and wire in the behavior patterns of that new identity, living that new life that you really want to get to, that new life that your heart is pointed toward. Now, before we get on to the third sign the universe wants to level you up, if you like what you're seeing, please click the subscribe button. We talk about all things spiritual awakening here at Lightways, empath empowerment, dark night of the soul, ascension symptoms, starseed activation, you name it. We got it here for your spiritual journey at Lightways. Also, please share with like-minded people and turn on notifications. Now back to 3 signs the universe is trying to level you up. And number 3, the level of discontent in your current life, be it career, relationships, or health, seems to have reached a tipping point where you can no longer stand not taking action, going after what you really want. So this is huge, guys. Once you reach that point where you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's when you know it's time to chart that new course. Being sick and tired of being sick and tired is by design. It's designed to get you to seek what does fulfill your heart. So you don't want to be distracted with all of the discontent in your life, because then you're just going to be a vibrational match to more uncomfortability. Instead, you want to focus on the new life where you're really trying to get to. What is the compass? Where is the compass of your heart pointed? Because energy flows where attention goes. So if you're focused on that new higher timeline, you're going to start to take the baby steps, the action steps in alignment to get you to that new higher timeline. You don't have to see the entire staircase, as they say. You just have to take the first step. The path will light up as you take those steps. So it's the ego that wants to know all of the hows, how this, how that, because if it doesn't know the hows, then the ego views that as a threat to survival. And then you kind of stay in this state of fight or flight because you don't know how you're going to do it. The hows are the domain of the universe. Let the universe worry about the hows. You just focus on the end goal. What are the baby steps we can put together to get us to that end goal? And then the universe will figure out the hows. Kind of like the previous sign that the universe wants to level you up, where all the people, places, and things of that higher timeline just coincidentally pop up into your everyday life. When you trust the journey and you just put one foot in front of the other, you coincidentally run into people that might be on the same path or might be a little bit ahead of you on that path, and they can help you out. They can show you how. You might attract a mentor, whatever it is, but the universe has an infinite number of ways to get you to where you're trying to go. In other words, get you to the reason that you decided to incarnate in the first place. Why would the universe support you in this? Because the universe can expand to a much greater degree through and as you when you are living your life purpose. That is a frequency of expansion and receptivity. The universe's main motivation is expansion. If you're constantly in a state of survival, fight or flight, that's a closed off state of resistance and stagnation. The universe can't do anything through you at that point because your ego is hogging up all of the space. Your ego believes you're in a threat to survival and the universe can't get through. The universe can't expand through you if you're in fight or flight. Okay, so you've got to take the baby steps, put one foot in front of the other, and then that new life gets integrated. Yes, integrated into the current life. And then step by step, more and more every day, you're living that new life. And the new life is not just, placed under the someday category. It's not stopping the current life cold turkey and then trying to jump into the new life. You integrate it by taking the baby steps. And those baby steps build momentum. And once you get the momentum, next thing you know, it's the new version of you, the 2.0 version of you, where you're living the reason that you decided to incarnate. I hope this helps. I love all of you guys. Namaste.